Sorry about that. I noticed a guy who was scaling the fence, my neighbor's fence, and going into his backyard, and I just wanted to go make sure that everything was copacetic. Turned out to be one of my neighbors who, I guess his brother took his key. Now he's got to go to the leasing office and get the key, because there's no way into his house. Anyway. So yeah, let's finish up this part really quickly. Then 10 minutes and 36 seconds into the video. And for those of you watching this who are unsure, might be unsure of the video I am speaking of, the title, just go back on my YouTube channel, and over 3 months ago now, I think this was in the roughly sometime in the spring. I forgot to look at the exact date that I published it. In the spring of 2024 of this year, I published a video that is called "I Dare You, Zay. Show me how hardcore you are for the cause," something like that. But it starts with "I dare you, Zay." So I dare you, comma, Zay, Z-E, because I'm addressing a guy named Zay Frank in the video. All right? So if you would like to go back and watch that video, or listen to the things that I say in the video to confirm that, yes, this is indeed what I said, I did say these things, please go for it, because clearly Miss Melly Germany, I want to say something truly nasty here, but I'm afraid that then the video will get taken down. She's starting all kinds of nonsense, starting shit basically over things that she's claiming I said that I didn't say. Or she's not quoting me exactly enough. So, 10 minutes, 36 seconds into the video, I say, everybody would. Everybody with like 2 brain cells and a little bit of common sense. And that's in regards to everybody would choose having a family over doing some great thing if forced to choose between the two. And that's about it. That's about all I caught on that video. I watched the full thing, and I think I made another 1 or 2 absolute statements. Like I called the men that I was addressing in the video, I called them spoiled brats, so on and so forth. But it was not really in regards to assuming other people's state of mind, what they would make choices about for their life, their desires, so on and so forth. These statements, I think, fall in line under what Melly Germany is complaining about. So everybody with like 2 brain cells and a little bit of common sense. So again, I was implying there, the implication there is everybody with enough self-awareness, a certain level of intelligence, who understands certain things about their own nature as human beings, who understands the meaning of life, what the point of life is, who understands what human beings require to feel satisfied with their lives. Anybody who has a healthy sense of self-preservation, perhaps I should tack that on as well. And here I'm making absolute statements for you, honey. Like, anybody who has a healthy sense of self-preservation and doesn't want to just destroy themselves, to claim a little bit of clout that's not going to last very long, and it won't even make I've made this point in the past as well. It will not even make as big of an impact on the world in the long run as passing down your DNA, because mitochondrial DNA can survive being passed from the exact same mitochondrial DNA can survive being passed from mother to child, mother to child, mother to child for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. There is certainly some mitochondrial DNA that exists today that has been around for thousands of years and has outlived many quote-unquote great things that men have done, that quote-unquote great men of history have done. Those great men, quote-unquote great men who've done those great things, are all but forgotten. They're forgotten. We don't know their names. We don't know their accomplishments. It happened so long ago. Their story lived on for a few generations, possibly, a few centuries, maybe even a millennia. And then was, for whatever reason, a great catastrophe, so on and so forth. They were forgotten. All right? They no longer make an impact on the world. And yet, the mitochondrial DNA that existed back then during their time still exists today. It still exists. It's still walking around in human beings, making an impact on the world. So why would you choose self-isolation, near total self-isolation, suffering that again will almost inevitably lead to a good deal of psychological, emotional suffering, and even stress on bodily, physical stress to yourself, a shortening of your lifespan, so on and so forth? Why would you choose that just so that you could have some achievement under your belt, some feather in your cap that's not going to matter and won't even outlive, its impact on the world will not even outlive the men or women who chose to settle down, have families, and pass on their DNA. It will not even have as big of an impact on the world as those people. Why? Can you give me that side of the argument? Can you offer that up, that bit of information? Can you give me any examples as to why a person would choose that? I've given you so many examples now why the family, it's better to choose the family. It makes a greater impact on the world in the long run. It's more meaningful and therefore is more meaningful in the long run. It's also more, you could say more meaningful in the short run. It checks off all the boxes of what human beings need to feel satisfied with their lives and fulfilled with their lives. So why would anybody give me examples of why a person would choose that? Unless they're an idiot, unless, So again, the implication was they have to have 2 brain cells. They have to be of a certain level of intelligence. So you're claiming that, okay, let's go back to your comment here. And your claim was that, again, I specifically highlighted the statement you made in one of your videos that given the choice, everybody would always choose a family over anything else. And those who don't are all psychopaths. I did not say that they're all psychopaths. I also said that many of them would not be intelligent, or I implied that with the words that I used. So, again, however, this was exactly what you said. It's not exactly what I said. You are misquoting me. You are putting words in my mouth. You are flat out lying about me now. You're just straight up lying. Or perhaps you're just not doing your due diligence and going back and actually listening to the video and the things that I said and making sure that your quoting of me is accurate. You're not at all taking into consideration that I also said, of course there are people out there who are too stupid to understand what they need out of life to feel satisfied. They're too stupid to sit down and work out things like, whatever, major, impressive thing I do will not have nearly as big of an impact on the world at large as passing down my DNA in the long run. There's plenty of people out there who are not self-aware enough to make these calculations. All right, did I beat that dead horse enough? It was the extremeness of your comment which prompted me to reply in the first place. My critique can only be understood in relation to the extreme nature of your claim. This is really important, and since you have denied that your words were as extreme as I claim them to be, I will include a copy of the video transcript to show your exact words in part 4 of my response. Oh, now you're going to go through and pick apart exactly what I said. I mean, include the copy of the video transcript if you would like, but I think I just gave a part of this transcript right there. I just displayed it. I'm not denying that I'm making extreme statements. I think even the document that I wrote out there, the title of it was Absolute Statements. So I was stating things as though they were fact, because I do believe them to be fact. And I was stating them as though they applied to almost everybody. But again, I excluded some people from the everybody. So your claim that I'm speaking for everybody is not accurate. It is a lie. I did not speak for everybody. I excluded people from the everybody. I excluded people who have a psychology that is so averse and so far afield from what we consider to be normal that they just simply won't have the same values as ourselves, as most people, like psychopaths. And I excluded people who are idiots, who are unintelligent and unaware of themselves. I'm not denying that I'm making extreme comments. And who cares? Ultimately, what a lot of this boils down to is, who cares? People make extreme comments in their videos on YouTube all the freaking time, honey. The fact that you've gone to such great lengths to take issue with me making a handful of absolute, of absolute extreme comments about human nature and what other human beings would choose if being made to choose between two things. Like, wow. It really just tells me that, I think if again, and yes, I'm going to make some educated assumptions here. I'm allowed to have opinions, honey. And I'm allowed to base those opinions upon all the experiences I've had in my life thus far, my 40 years of life thus far, and dealing with other people, analyzing other people and their behavior and the motives behind their behavior. So I'm going to give you my opinion right now as to why you went on this witch hunt against me. One of the reasons why you went on this witch hunt against me over some nonsense. And not even nonsense, but over a few statements I made in one of how many videos have I released now? I think that ultimately you're not happy with your life. I think that deep down inside somewhere, you know that. I think you're in denial about it. I think you don't want to face the truth. I don't care if you struggled your way out of poverty, blah, 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 blah. I think you mentioned that in your next comment that I will pick apart. Yeah, plenty of people have come from meager backgrounds and then gone on to achieve. Achievement is also not the point. So I don't want to get too much into it with this video because I'm going to be tackling all of that in my next video about another one of your comments. That doesn't, having achievement after achievement after achievement also does not guarantee a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment with your life. I've met people like that too. They just one achievement after the other. I'm going to get this degree, and then now I don't know what to do with myself. I'm still not happy. Okay, I'll go back to school. I'll get this degree. I still don't know what to do with myself. I mean, I have this profession and that profession, and I'm at the peak of my professions, and I'm getting paid really well, and I have a good house. I'm still not happy. I guess I'll go back to school and get another degree, or maybe I'll run a marathon, or maybe I'll I'll make a startup company or something. Surely I'll be happy after that, and they just never are. So, yeah. So again, this is not a debate about the importance of motherhood and the significance of family, and that choosing to have a family is one of the most meaningful ways a person can live their life. To some degree, it is. Because that was what I was using. That was part of the reason why I was saying that I felt I could make such broad, sweeping, grand, assuming statements. And the other reasons I gave in previous videos were, I'm a 40-year-old woman. I have 40 years of life experience. I've studied human psychology. I've studied human nature. I know certain things like, again, we need a sense of connectedness, and we need a sense of having a purposeful life in order to feel satisfied with ourselves, so on and so forth. I have enough of a knowledge base to make these kinds of statements. I do feel confident and firm in being able to make these statements. You still have yet to offer any alternatives to prove me wrong, which is just fuels my belief that, I'm founded in being able to make these statements. I'm correct in being able to make these statements. I think I already told you, I coached you in how you need to win this debate, which is you need to offer up alternatives to having a meaningful life that are even better and even more meaningful than having a family. Because if you can do that, then you begin to pick apart some of the facts or some of the claims that I'm making that back up why I'm making these overarching, broad sweeping statements about human beings in general. You understand? So it kind of is a part of the debate, a big part of the debate. My critique was about you. Real quick, I'm just rereading some of this just to make sure that I have adequately answered this. My critique was about you and your tendency to dictate in absolutes what is right and wrong for other people's lives. I already critiqued you on using the F instead of the V, by the way. And your claim that you know what others think and what their motivations are. I claimed that I know enough about the world and about human beings that I can very accurately best guess and assume what most other human beings are thinking in any given situation about any given topic. And what's the big deal about me dictating in absolutes occasionally? I don't always dictate in absolutes, but once in a while, yes, I will throw an absolute statement out there because I'm old enough now, I'm experienced in life enough, and I'm intelligent enough to have come to some ultimate conclusions about life and about human beings. So if you want to win this debate, honey, then you need to, what I guess you would have to do is somehow bring forth an argument and prove that I am not old enough, I am not experienced in life enough, and that I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not experienced enough with other human beings, and not self-reflective enough to be able to make at least a handful of absolute statements once in a while in some of my videos. Okay? Should I just tiptoe around every single opinion I have so that I don't annoy Miss Melly Germany? Again, I really, you went on a witch hunt because I think I definitely triggered something in you that made you really angry. Why would that be? Now, most people, when they hear an absolute statement being made by someone and they truly just think oh, that person's an idiot, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't necessarily, again, they're not necessarily, and this has happened to me. I've heard people make absolute statements and thought that they were wrong and thought that this person was stupid for making that statement. It did not fuel me to go out of my way to insert my opinions into their life, to write giant essays and comments to them, picking apart their opinions or their statements or their intelligence. Occasionally that happens if I think that it's... occasionally I've been known to do something along those lines or make a video addressing an issue here or there or talking about a person. If I think that they are a huge influence on society and that a lot of people could be adversely affected by the statements that they are making. But again, I have a fairly small YouTube channel. I have around 370 subscribers. I am not any kind of major influencer. I'm not a politician, right? I'm a single woman living with some cats in Florida. So the fact that you are going out of your way, like you were so triggered to dedicate yourself to writing so much, picking apart my statements, tells me that either A, you really don't feel satisfied with your life, and you're now you're taking that out on me. Basically, I'm stating why people likely don't feel satisfied with their lives, what people should almost certainly want out of life or aspire to in order to feel like they have a satisfying, fulfilled life. And something tells me, again, I'm going to make an assumption here. I could be wrong, but I don't know much about you. But just based on what I know of you thus far, and my previous experiences with life and other people, I'm going to go ahead and make the assumption that you're not very happy with your life. You probably don't have a family. You very likely don't have a partner and or children. You might have some kind of a career that you've worked hard at achieving. You might have financial security and stability. You might have worked your way up from a meager background, but you still don't feel satisfied with your life. And I come along and say, well, it's because you don't have a family. In so many words, I'm saying like, well, you don't have a family. That's why you don't feel like you have a meaningful life. And that triggered like a flare up of just total anger in you. Maybe because you feel like it's too late for you to have the family. Maybe you let some opportunities to have a family slip through your fingers. Maybe you've been laboring under the illusion, the idea all this time for most of your life that a woman doesn't need a family. She doesn't need a husband and kids in order to be satisfied with her life. And I'm providing an argument that is an affront to that idea. And quite possibly, you don't feel satisfied with your life, which would only further, it's more evidence to support my argument. Again, otherwise, why would you? I know if I had kids, if I had young kids, even if I had like teenagers that I were involved, that I'm concerned with their upbringing and so on and so forth, feeding them every day, their activities, so on and so forth. I would not have nearly enough time. I would not have the time likely to be making these videos or replying to your comments or even caring about you at all, And this is not only just about you. This is also, again, this is to lay you bare and expose you to anyone else who comes upon my YouTube channel. This is also this is using you as a way of making points to the rest of my audience on YouTube. So this isn't even just about you, but if I had a family, if I had kids and a partner, I would be way too busy to be dealing with you. So the fact that you seem to be able to find all this time to write these long, involved comments repeatedly on my videos, picking me apart, tells me that you likely do not have a family. You likely don't have kids that you're responsible for. You might have a partner, maybe like a boyfriend. I would venture to say you probably don't have a husband. So, Yeah. Yeah. Did I hit a nerve, honey? And or also, again, very, very likely that you are a member of this group of people that I have been talking about for about 2 years now, that I strongly suspect engage in incest, ritual child abuse, child trafficking, so on and so forth. And I gave my reasons for why I think that about you. So it could be twofold. It could be both. It could be you've been stalking my YouTube channel because you're a member of that group. But then also I said some things in one of my videos that hit a nerve with you and you felt the need to just start an absolute witch hunt. But all right, yeah, let's so you're radically first of all, you're misquoting me. Yes, I will speak in absolutes. I don't care. Once in a while, I will speak in absolutes. If I feel that I've worked out an ultimate answer to certain things in life, I'm not saying I know all the answers, but if I feel that I've worked one out, I might just throw an absolute statement out there once in a while, honey. What the hell are you going to do about it? Oh, you're going to leave long, involved comments on my YouTube channel? Have at it. Until I just block you. Because you're just annoying. And also because I think that you're trying to make me look stupid to the public. And I think that there are some people in the public out there who are stupid enough to actually pay attention to your comments and not analyze them the way I'm doing so. Right? So you might actually be successful when you're the idiot here. Again, I think I've proven that over and over again. Okay? Make sure you quote me properly. So, all right, let me end this. I'm pretty tired. I actually jumped right into this when I woke up this morning. I'm going to end this and then eventually get started on addressing your next comment, possibly one or two comments more that you've left. And then again, if you don't within a reasonable amount of time, and a reasonable amount of time really at this rate is a day or two, within the next 48 hours, if you don't release something, some kind of comment or reply to my videos or a video itself that's addressed to me, where you send me the link, where you are giving a truthful answer to my questions of you about whether or not you are a member or in any way associated with these people who I've been accusing of child abuse, incest, ritualized child abuse, child trafficking. If you don't give me a truthful answer, then I'm going to block you from my channel. Because then, again, at this point, it just seems like deflection. I have asked you several times over to answer that question. I've accused you of it. I've implied that, it strongly seems like you might be a member of that group and that you're going out of your way to cyberbully and gang stalk and harass me for them and for yourself. And anybody in there, again, here's another absolute. Anybody in their right mind with a sense of self-preservation who is not psychologically sick in some way, who is innocent of such things, would be jumping to refute that. They would be denying any involvement in a group like that if they are innocent of it. I'm sure lots of people who are guilty of it would be denying it as well. But it just makes you look that much more guilty that you're not even answering it. Most people would that would be one of the first things that they would address if they're being accused of something like that. They would be like, no, I am not I'm just speaking for me at least. If someone accused me of something like that and it was like a part of a longer debate, that would be one of the first things that I would address. I'd be like, so first of all, let's get this out of the way. No, I'm not in any way affiliated or associated that I know of with anybody like that. And if I knew of it, I would be doing something about it. I would probably be going to the police. So again, I've asked you several times over the course of I don't know how many videos and comments and replies to your comments to answer that question. Give me a truthful answer to it. And you've just been neglecting to do so and deflecting and answering every other thing and misquoting me and so on and so forth. But you are failing repeatedly to give me a truthful answer about whether or not you are affiliated with the people that I have been speaking of and trying to expose. Child traffickers, child abusers. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say you've got about 48 hours to give me a response on that before I just block you from my channel. But I will certainly be keeping these videos up on my YouTube channel, exposing you and pointing you out. All right. Just to give my audience, anybody who stumbles upon my YouTube channel, an idea of the lengths that these sickos will go to harass people online, and the kinds of little tricks that they play, the little guilty behaviors like deflecting and just ignoring an accusation over and over again being made against them, which implies guilt. All right. Goodbye.